Welcome back to the AI Coach by Anil Nathu. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into something pretty amazing. We're talking about causal AI.
Causal AI.
It's this whole fascinating area of AI that goes way beyond, just predicting what's going to happen next to actually getting why things happen.
Yeah.
Like it's more than just saying, oh, every December sales go up.
Mm.
It wants to dig deeper and find out why.
Mm.
Is it really because of the holidays? Or maybe there's another reason entirely.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it, It's really about moving beyond just seeing that two things happen together, like correlation, to actually understanding the cause and effect relationship between them. Like you said, we see sales go up in December, but is that because of the holidays or is it something else? It's about getting to that deeper level of understanding.
So it's kind of like, in traditional AI, it's like we're just observing things.
Right.
We're saying, okay, this happened and then this happened. But causal AI is more like we want to understand the mechanics.
Exactly.
The cause and effect.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like the difference between, a detective noticing that a lot of robberies happen on Tuesdays. And that's interesting. It's a pattern. But it doesn't tell you why. Causal AI wants to actually crack the case to understand what's going on. Why are those robberies happening more on Tuesdays? Is there a specific reason?
Okay, so instead of just saying, hey, look, robberies happen on Tuesdays,
Right.
we're saying, why do they happen on Tuesdays?
Exactly.
Maybe everyone's at the bank on Tuesday. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a terrible example.
Yeah.
But, you get the point. So how does it actually work? I mean, it sounds almost like magic. Is causal AI like this crystal ball that sees into the future and tells you exactly why everything is happening?
Well, I wish it were that simple. It would make our jobs a lot easier, right?
Yeah.
But in reality, it's more about using a set of tools and techniques to really rigorously map out these cause and effect relationships. One way to think about it is like using flowcharts. You have different variables and you're trying to figure out how they connect to each other, what influences what. So for example, imagine a company, they're seeing a sudden drop in customer satisfaction. Nobody likes that.
Yeah, no, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, so they're trying to figure out what happened. Now, traditional AI might just point out some correlations like, oh, maybe customer satisfaction dropped around the same time as a new marketing campaign, but it doesn't tell you if the campaign is actually to blame.
Right.
Causal AI, on the other hand, would try to dig deeper and see, okay, was there a specific change on the website? Maybe a new feature that people didn't like? Was there a price increase? Or maybe even a competitor launched a really attractive promotion and that's what's stealing away your customers. Causal AI can tease all of that apart.
So it's not just showing you the problem. It's kind of like giving you that root cause analysis. Like,
Yeah.
here's why you're having this issue. And so you can then hopefully fix it. Now, you mentioned earlier that causal AI sometimes actually needs less data.
Yeah.
But isn't figuring out all these complex relationships between things, doesn't that need a ton of data?
That's a really great question, and it's something that often surprises people. You'd think that to understand all these intricate connections, you'd need mountains of data, but that's not always the case.
Okay.
And that's part of what makes causal AI so exciting. Because it focuses on the why, it can actually be much more data efficient.
Okay.
It's kind of like if you know that turning a specific knob controls the volume, you don't need to test every other button on the stereo to figure out how to make the music louder.
Right.
So in a similar way, once causal AI understands the underlying cause and effect mechanisms, it doesn't need to see every single data point to make accurate inferences and predictions.
It's like a shortcut. You understand the rules. You don't need to see everything to know what's going to happen.
No.
So where are we actually seeing causal AI making the biggest impact right now? Like, what kind of problems is it already solving out there in the real world?
I'm really glad you asked because the applications are just exploding right now.
Okay.
It's happening across so many different fields. In healthcare, for instance, it's helping personalize treatments in a way we couldn't have imagined before. Because, if you think about it, different patients respond differently to the same medication, right? Well, causal AI can help us understand why. It can look at an individual patient's genes, lifestyle, medical history, and figure out which treatment is most likely to be effective for them.
That's amazing.
So it's like tailored healthcare.
Exactly.
It's not just a one-size-fits-all approach.
Right.
And it makes sense. Our bodies are different. Precisely. And another really exciting area is in marketing. For years, marketers have been relying on demographics to target their ads, like age, gender, location. But you and I both know that doesn't really tell you what motivates people to buy.
No, absolutely not.
Causal AI is changing that. It can analyze data from various sources like social media, purchase history, browsing behavior, and start to understand what actually drives people's decisions. Maybe it's a certain influencer they follow. Maybe it's a specific need they have. Causal AI can uncover those hidden connections and help companies create much more effective, targeted, and personalized marketing campaigns.
That's fascinating. Now, I got to ask, this all sounds amazing, but every year there's some new AI buzzword.
Yeah.
5 years from now, are we even going to remember the term causal AI, or is it just another hype cycle?
Yeah, that's a really fair point, and I totally understand the skepticism. The field of AI has had its fair share of overhyped trends, and it's easy to get caught up in the excitement. But I think what sets causal AI apart is that it's not just another fancy algorithm. It's about going back to the fundamental principles of how we understand the world, which is cause and effect.
Okay.
It's not about predicting the future, it's about understanding why things happen so we can make better decisions. That's timeless.
So it's almost like you're not just observing, you're not just predicting, you're understanding,
Hmm.
and therefore you can maybe even manipulate or influence the future because you know why things are happening.
Exactly. It's about moving from being reactive to being proactive. Instead of just responding to events as they happen, we can start to shape them.
So for our listeners out there, someone who's hearing all this for the first time and they're thinking, this is incredible, I got to get in on this.
Yep.
What's their first step? What should they do to start exploring the world of causal AI?
Well, first of all, I highly recommend checking out the AI Coach by Anil Nathu. It's a fantastic resource for learning about all things AI, including causal AI.
Yeah, that's a great starting point.
Yeah. And then my advice would be to really think about the challenges you're facing in your own work or life. What are the big questions you're trying to answer? Where would understanding the why behind things make a real difference? Once you have that in mind, you can start looking for ways that causal AI might be able to help.
So it all starts with identifying the problem.
Absolutely.
Now, once you've done that, do you need to go back to school, become a data scientist to actually use causal AI?
That's a common misconception, but no, you don't have to become a data scientist overnight. In fact, one of the most important things with causal AI is that it requires collaboration between different types of expertise. You need people who deeply understand the specific problem you're trying to solve, whether they're doctors, marketers, engineers, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you need the AI specialists who can bring in the technical know-how to apply the right tools and methods. So it's really about bringing together the right team with a mix of skills.
So teamwork makes the dream work.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, are there any particular companies out there right now that are, kind of leading the way in causal AI? Any big players that our listeners should know about?
Oh, absolutely. The field is evolving so rapidly, and there are some amazing companies pushing the boundaries. Some of the big names you've probably heard of, like Microsoft and IBM, they're heavily invested in causal AI research and development.
Okay.
But then there are also a lot of exciting startups making waves like Causalens. They're doing some really cool work on automating causal AI. And then there's Bizura. They're focused on using causal AI for decision intelligence. And another one worth mentioning is Skalnix. They specialize in building scalable causal AI solutions. So there's a lot of innovation happening, and it's a really exciting time to be following this field.
So it's still kind of early days, which I guess makes it even more exciting.
It does.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into causal AI here on the AI Coach by Anil Nathu, what's the one big takeaway that you want our listeners to walk away with today?
I think if I had to boil it down to one thing, it's that causal AI is not just another fleeting trend in the world of AI. It's a fundamental shift in how we use AI to understand and interact with the world around us.
Okay.
It's about moving beyond simply observing correlations to truly understanding causation, from observation to understanding.
Right.
And that shift has the potential to revolutionize the way we solve problems, the way we make decisions, and ultimately the way we shape the future.
Powerful stuff. This has been a truly fascinating exploration of causal AI on the AI Coach by Anil Nathu. It feels like we've only just scratched the surface here. There's so much more to discover.
Absolutely. It's a vast and ever-evolving field.
Thank you for joining us today. Remember to visit the AI Coach website for more AI insights by Anil Nathu. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.